Let me bring you back in time, back in 2012, where I found a video game that I didn't know I was gonna absolutely fall in love with. It turned out to be a video game that I wanted to grind my heart out way before I went into Titanfall and or Halo. This game was, in my opinion, a pinnacle of shooter games way back in the day. It is essentially a third-person shooter game where you are able to use jetpacks to fly around the map, have crazy abilities and kill streaks, and you pledge your loyalty to one of the two factions in the game. And the main mechanic of the game is that the game tracks in real time of which faction is doing better than the other faction by collecting a precious resource called dark matter, and whoever was able to control more territories on the continental map than the other one claimed victor for the faction for each season, and you would get rewards for each season, whether if you'd won or lost each season. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Hybrid. Hybrid was a very amazing game. It's like if you were to play Titanfall, but it was on PlayStation 2 or Xbox 360. Like, it was a freaking fun game for me to play back in the day, and I had so much fun playing this. Essentially, it's a third-person shooter game, as I said before, and you're able to use a jetpack from move to cover. But pretty much the core gameplay of it is that you take cover, and then you can move from cover to cover by using an advanced jetpack, and it's really, really, really fun because you get to have these really freaking amazing-looking dogfights in mid-air, and you can just and you could style on people by throwing grenades, using abilities, shotguns, all these little kill streaks. It was such a fun game. It was just super fun. It was such a blast back in the day. But what made this game so fun to play that I wanted to grind my heart out for it? It had a lot of fun mechanics, and the map designs were kind of interesting to say the least, and even the character design too. It even had its own little customization. You can even customize your loadouts, abilities, weapons, and everything. It was just such a fun thing. And just being able to also stand on walls and upside down, by the way, was also a pretty neat thing to have. All these little tactics that you get to use with your team as you defeat the enemy factions in multiplayer matches, where like each win or loss determines on how your faction progresses on in each season, and then like it was so amazing. You had all these different game modes, like, of course, the straight-up team deathmatch. There was also, and then there was also another game mode called Artifact, where essentially there was this really ancient artifact filled with a bunch of darkness that you had to carry. It was essentially like Oddball in Halo, as you could relate it to, where essentially you have to pick up the ball, or the artifact in this case, and you have to keep it away from the enemy team as long as you can. The downside of having the artifact, of course, is that you have slower movement speed, and it definitely was a pretty nice little balance factor to have. And then there was also the search and destroy type of game mode, where you destroy, you either defend or bomb the objective. And you pretty much, and I'm pretty sure you do know how that plays out, where you have one life, and you have to either defend the bomb site or bomb the bomb site. And, you know, it was pretty tactical way back in the day, too, for this type of game mode. But what made it even more interesting was that if you were to choose to move to the other faction, like say if you were on the Paladins and you chose to move to the Variants, you would essentially run into a multiplayer match where you faced the faction that you left and you were marked as a traitor. And I honestly found that a really interesting mechanic, because some people wanted to leave a certain faction to join another one because, you know, the other one is better. So then you had to fight your own faction. It's just that this game was just such a pinnacle of shooters back in the day, and I wish you could play it again still. I highly doubt people are still playing this game, but it was just like, I just wish there was a continuation of this game, because it was just such an interesting concept of a shooter game where you fly around in a jetpack and you have all these abilities and grenades and all these weapons and kill streaks and whatnot. And it was just so much freaking fun to play. Just the gameplay variety of it definitely got pretty huge, because you could have these insane dogfights in the air as you shoot the enemy that's jetpacking to another side of cover as you're trying to defend yourself. It was so fucking fun. Like, oh my gosh, this game was just something else. And I was very proud to grind my heart out in this game. I was grinding to be number 1 on the leaderboards, and I got to pretty much being the top 1,000. It was a fun grind. But alas, unfortunately, I don't think you can really play this game anymore, but I was wanting to just introduce this game because this was fucking amazing. And the kill streaks that you were able to use were the Stalker Drone, the Warbringer, and the Praeon. Each of these kill streaks can be earned at either 1, 3, or 5 kills, with Stalker being the first kill, where if you get 1 kill, you can call on the Stalker. I thought the Stalker was really cool to have, because what was interesting about it is that the Stalker Drone, not only does it follow you around, but every time when you're idle taking cover, it was always watching your back like a little buddy, and every time somebody was trying to sneak up behind you, it would start firing at them automatically, alerting you that there's somebody behind you and that you can get more of an advantage over them. It was super, super freaking cool. I loved having the Stalker. It was such a freaking fun little thing to have. And the next thing that you have is the Warbringer, which is like a simple tank that's floating in the air, and it talked trash to you every time and it spotted you as well. And it does have quite a bit of damage. Not like super lethal damage, but quite a bit of damage, and they can be quite annoying to deal with if you're not careful with them. And then finally, at 5 kills, there's the Praeon, where it summons a ninja waifu that flies in the air and chases after anybody that she sees. With very nimble speed, will just perform a takedown on you, and there's no way to escape it, and you just die from it. It literally felt like a Predator missile, but just way scarier. What was even scarier about the Praeon is that you knew it was chasing your ass down if you heard like a certain screeching sound, and it was really scary way back in the day, like holy shit. I wish I could play it again. Like, I wish I could just play it again to experience the magic of this game with you guys again, but it's so sad that we can't. It was just such a magical journey, and it was just so amazing. But anyways, guys, that was Hybrid. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you guys have a good rest of your day. Peace and take care.